All right, Matthew McConaughey, welcome to the Mom Room.
Good to be in the mom room, Renee.
So I always ask my guests what their transition into motherhood was like. So for you, I'm going to ask you what your transition into fatherhood was like. Was there anything unexpected? Was it more difficult than you anticipated?
Very early on, I think the first lesson that became clear that was different than what I had thought was the nature over nurture. I knew how important nurture was, but I didn't realize how much nature was like, oh, they are who they are. They come out. You can amend, you can shepherd, you can guide, you can help them get rid of some of the poorer habits of their DNA. You can help them turn on and amplify some of the better habits of their DNA, but they kind of are who they are.
Do you guys see a lot of yourself and Camilla in your kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's certain things. I think usually there's certain things that I won't notice are me about them, but Camilla will be like, duh, don't you see where they get that from? You know, or I'll notice things about them and she'll be like, where'd they get that from? I'm like, look in the mirror, you know? And we remind, I think, each other more of how our kids are like each other than we even notice ourselves sometimes. But yes, indeed.
So was fatherhood what you expected it to be?
You know, I'm still on that's something I could probably tell you once my kids are all out of the house. I mean, I didn't have any concrete ideas about what to do when. I probably had, my instincts were surely primed for it. We were not interested in, all the books we were unsolicitedly given. Wanted to, we had Camilla and I had a similar moral bottom line about what we wanted and how we saw ourselves parenting in our imagination. We had plenty of talks about how we were both raised, about the assets of how we were, about things we'd like to amend and change, about how we each were raised. We were very clear on what I learned from my parents and what she learned from her, that it was very important for us to instill in our own kids, that we wanted to carry on. It's constantly surprising, and I've got two now teenagers. That's a whole new treasure chest of emotions and things and wants and needs. And they're starting to notice that, for the first time, I don't have time to do everything I want to do. If I do this, I have to sacrifice that. So what's more important? Well, when they're younger, it's kind of like 24 hours is plenty of time to do all you want to do. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you start getting commitments and interest in different places. It's like, you're going to have to kind of pick one or the other. Or, and that time management they're having to do right now. Plus the world telling them, you need to figure out what you want to be, or who you are, what you want to do. And we're trying to like, no, you don't. Try different things out. I had this conversation with one of my kids the other day. Just going on to play a sport. It's like, so, because if I play the sport, do you tell me, does this mean I need to be pro in it? We're like, no, it doesn't mean you need to be a pro in it. Just go try it. It's exercise. It's good for your brain. It's good for your body. It's good for your spirit. And just give a good effort. You don't have to be a pro at it. Don't put that pressure on yourself, which is a lot of what I think the book's about. There's certain pressures that kids feel that aren't really necessary to feel.
No, for sure. You can tell them about me. I finished my PhD a few days before quarantine, and now I podcast for a living. So, things change.
Yeah. Yeah.
How would you say your life, what was the biggest change in your life that you noticed from pre-kids to post-kids?
One, a feeling of immortality, which I believe every parent, if we're fortunate, becomes with the passing on of our lineage and bloodline and shaping and these young minds and spirits and sending them off. And if we're fortunate enough for them to procreate, we live forever. It's the greatest example, the greatest mirror we live, the greatest shadow or light we leave. You want to know a parent, go hang out with their kids. Yeah, that'd be the first one that I noticed, or a different way. And you just, you go through, you don't have children, you live for today. You don't have to project as far forward with your decisions you make, because it's like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine, whatever happens here. You have children, it's like, I'll be fine, but they won't necessarily be fine if this goes awry. So you start making choices and have considerations for your dependents, because they are dependent on us. So those considerations and those projections into the future of choices to make, sacrifices I got to make. Like I can't take one-way tickets anymore. That was a great thing before kids. I could take a one-way ticket.
Just up and go.
Go. That's a great idea. Get the backpack on. Let's go. Camilla and I could just go. You can't do that anymore. They've got school. They've got teams. They need breakfast. They need sleep. They need shepherding. They're still learning. We're still teaching them. They're in training. So you take round trip tickets. You have to have a return ticket when you become a parent. You know what I mean?
Double the airfare.
Yeah.
So my mom texted me today and she was like, Renee, are you going to ask Matthew this question? I was like, no, Mom, I didn't have that on my list, but I will add it for you. So this is the question from Sue, my mom.
All right. Hi, Sue.
She wants to know, how do you think your childhood influenced your own parenting today? It's a big one.
There's a big one. It's a good one. Look, my childhood, no matter if we were getting disciplined, no matter if we were in trouble, whatever, which was not most of the time at all, it was very clear. It was never in question in my childhood whether my parents absolutely, unequivocally loved me or not. I heard it a lot. So did my brothers. I love you. I just don't like you right now. When we would mess up or, keep disobeying or whatever. But the love was never in question. And I believe this wholeheartedly as I became a parent. And I think it's true for any parent that's anytime you get in a pinch about what should I do? I don't know what. Well, if your child knows you love them, no matter what, yeah, you may make not the best decisions here or there, but they know that secure feeling of knowing you're loved in the home, I know is big part of the reason why I was able to have the courage to fly outside of it, to be away from my parents as I got older, or from my brothers, or from a girlfriend in my past, or from my family even now, and going, no, I know that love still. I may not be there physically right now, but that's the same moon that they're under, and that's the same sun that they're under, and I know that their love's traveling over time across the ocean, wherever I may be, or wherever they may be. Knowing that's there, that they're still with me and I'm still with them, that's part of knowing that you're loved without question.
And so you guys kind of do the same thing for your kids. You want them to feel that, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we definitely do. And we definitely do love them that way. And they know that. Sometimes do you start to wonder, I'm sure as a child? Sure. I'm sure sometimes when you're feeling lonely or confused. But we try to make sure, and I think our kids know that when you get in those times of confusion or frustration, know that you can always rely on your family and the love that your parents have for you, no matter what. Or when we have to discipline them, remind them, hey, I love you no matter what. All right, this is not a question about you being less loved. This is, don't really like what you did right here, and we're going to help you amend that. All right, but the love is not in question. That's not up for even. That's not negotiable. It doesn't matter what you do. We always love you. But let's just talk about how to amend this behavior. So maybe, if you amend this behavior, you'll be showing actually that you love yourself more, maybe than you do right now.
Yeah.
But having that as a baseline that's just not in question, I know they feel that. Do they have to remind themselves of that sometimes? Probably. I know I did even as a kid, but it was never negotiable. We knew we were loved as kids.
So your oldest son, Levi, is 15 years old. And when you look back on the last 15 years, are you happy with the balance that you had between fatherhood, marriage, and career. Did you feel fulfilled in all three areas at all times, or was it like hit or miss in different seasons of life?
Good question. For the most part, I'm happy to say that I'm happy with that balance of those three. Look, I question it every day, and sometimes, the it's hard to keep all three in the black running at a high level. Career takes off. Oh, obsessed and married to work. Oh, marriage and partnership can fall off. Kind of just checking in. Fatherhood. God, be there. Oh, that's up there. Wait a minute. Am I giving myself enough time to do the work that makes me feel significant on my own? Oh, I don't know. Gotta balance those. Got to make sure I keep the bound. Marriages, that's a challenge. The couple creating the boundaries between the marriage and the parenthood is a real challenge, because like we were telling earlier, I know those one-way tickets or choices. I'll be okay no matter which the outcome. And then you get a partnership and you start to go sometimes, I know I do it. We'll be okay. But maybe they won't. So default can be parenting. And you can over-parent to an extent where all of a sudden the couple, you're looking at each other going, hey, F them for a little while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? we need a date night or whatever that is. You know what I mean? But I have to watch it because I'm like, well, they're dependent. They need us, right? And we have to remind, as a couple, we don't have to remind each other. Shut the door. Let them go get bored on their own. Let them go figure it out on their own. It's our time. And so it's a constant juggling of those three.
I heard a quote a couple years ago that you might like, and it was, because you always hear like, oh, you can have it all, and they were saying you can have it all, but just not on the same day.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you're saying, right? It's like teeter-tottering throughout life.
Yeah. I have a quote in Greenlight that I say, the genius is not all to each. The genius is each to all. I think anyway, it's about being one at a time, and you can't just go in and go, I can be everything at once. No, it really works when you're going like, I am absolutely being a super dad today. Oh, I'm absolutely committed to my work this afternoon doing this. I'm absolutely being the best husband I can be at this moment. And it can get murky when you're trying to wear all the hats at the same time. Now, it's really nice when you can get your life structured where the daily schedule sort of encapsulates the ability to balance those three. Whether it's work in the day, then let's have a meal as a family tonight. Before we have the meal as a family, let's make sure we play outside in the backyard. Let's have some time and get the kids down. And then, honey, you and I come together? How's our day to have an intimate talk together at the end of the night?